more generally, please can you just give us a few positives and a few negatives of crowdfunding?
We'll start off with the negatives. So the negatives of crowdfunding, I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily negative, but it is a lot of work. I think you don't necessarily need the most polished video in the world or whatever, but at the same time, you're going to need to dedicate a lot of time into making it a very succinct piece of work that you're showing. So editing does take time, shooting the actual thing, because a lot of crowdfunding obviously relies on a video being there so people can kind of get a very visual sense of it. So that's very simple, but at the same time can take a lot of time. And the longer your video is, the longer it's going to take to actually produce. Also, I actually find it is actually making people kind of within whatever organisation you've got actually believe that it will work and actually have the faith in it as a way to gain funding, because it's still a relatively new idea, but these days the market is almost oversaturated with crowdfunders because it's been obviously very successful for a lot of companies, but now it means there's so much out there that I think a negative is that you almost won't get noticed as much if you're not careful. So it's making people believe that you're one of many, but at the same time your idea is unique and it is worth kind of backing. But saying that, I also think it's the pressure as well. I think in terms of a negative aspect, because you won't get your full amount and you won't get the full amount of money unless you hit your target. So there's always pressure. I think it's very up and down. On some days you could raise absolutely nothing and you'll be really worried about hitting your goal, and that is kind of what it's like. It's very inconsistent. That's the thing. Like there's no real trend that, at least in our experience of our two crowdfunding products, it's very hard to tell kind of if you're going to reach your target because it's up and down. One day, we got I think sponsored 150 quid after 3 days of not raising any money. So it's a nice little surprise, but at the same time, emotionally, you're just very like, oh yes, that's brilliant. Oh no, sort of thing. But again, positives. It's connecting with people, giving a bit of personality to kind of what you're doing, what you're selling, I guess. And I think it's good to develop long-term relationships as well, because we've had people that have crowdfunded both of our projects, and it's nice. Those are the people that are going. They were with you from day one, and when you make it and you're like a big billionaire, you're going to be giving them the front row seats because they were there from the grassroots. So I think it's very good for emerging people and companies to start to get their work out there and have people behind it. So it really is that connection, and also it's very easy to do. It's very easy to set up. And I think the great thing about it is there's no harm in trying. There's literally no harm can come from it. It's not going to damage you if it doesn't work. I think you just learn from it. We've just been very lucky with our two projects. I'm not even sure if we'll crowdfund again, because I feel like we might be taking the mickey if we do it for 3 projects in a row. But we'll have to see.